I was just going to say it may be selfish on my part, but I still think there needs to be a human in the loop.
Right.
That I'm not advocating using an LLM to generate the BDD scenarios and then another LLM to come up with the code. I think we still have to guide it of what are we trying to achieve? What does that look like from the start? And then, like Chris said, maybe using it to help us point out there's conflicts.
Yeah, like the LLM will deal with the syntax for you. And I agree, there needs to be people involved. But as the systems handle more and more of the syntax, then you are just more or less speaking to it in natural language and then doing lots and lots of review. So reading code
Mhm.
quickly and stuff. That's like one really important technical skill that I think people need to have. And I was talking to people in academia recently. They're changing their curriculum around AI, even in computer science programs and things. And so I think academic language will allow you to be more succinct with the AI, which will then, it's like the term strategy pattern versus writing out or polymorphic dispatch or even computational complexity and optimization. These are all terms that somebody that has that background will know what to say to then get an LLM to do a certain design. So vocabulary is super important. Reading code quickly is super important. And in reading code quickly, all the things that we said about naming and other good practices, clean code, all that stuff still applies. It applies in a very different way today than it did,
Mhm.
4 years ago.
It's interesting when you mention natural language. It's easy, it's comfortable, but it's not precise. And it
Right.
can be interpreted a number of ways. And that's partially why we take our natural language and turn it into something the computer can understand, because that's a constrained set of
Yeah.
information that we can then execute against.
And maybe like just for context, I think one thing that I did about 4 months ago is I made some katas for myself. And it was just agentic katas. And the constraints that I put for myself was attempt to make the largest one-shot prompts where the agent did as much as possible with as little input as possible. And how can you configure the context, the skills, the tool chain to make it so that it does as much correctly as possible with the smallest amount of prompt so that it will work as long as possible. And so over the course of that 3 months where I just kept taking the same solution, throwing it away, reprompting it, the way I prompt is very different today. And the way I structure how I phrase everything, I often have the agent author its own skills. So I say, if you notice a piece of information that would have been helpful, list all the skills that you used and list all the skills that would have been nice had they existed. Then I will then tell it to go ahead and create those skills that didn't exist before so they can exist next time.